The
Mario
Mario
is going.
Mancini.
Mario is going to speak his piece tonight. That's according to Jeff.
I'm gonna
Okay, Jeff.
speak my piece tonight. I
Mm.
don't know what that means.
I'm not quite sure what that means, but if you're still watching Jeff, because he was waiting, I think he put that comment in about 15 minutes ago before the show started. But yeah, Jeff, if you wanna tell us what that means, I'd be more than happy to read it out because we've nothing planned for this show at all.
No, we just kind of off the cuff this thing. I did do a TikTok live for about half an hour uh at about 4:30 and let them know I was doing the show tonight and where to find it, but I didn't give a preview that I was going to unload on anything in particular, so
Hmm.
I don't
Let's
know.
let's start. Let's start. We'll go back to TikTok in a minute. I just want to talk about Hey Roma first, and tell me how that's going.
That's going well. Very it gets controversial every now and then. Roma gets all tanked up, starts pointing and yelling at the camera. Roma gets all, but it's going well. I enjoy doing it with them, and we get a lot of compliments on it. That it's a great show, and I think aesthetically we have to, do some things and get some things done aesthetically, and kind of get a more kind of thing going. Um,
Maybe he thinks you're going to talk about whether you got lucky with a lady last night. Is there something we don't know?
no,
No, it's a
no, I
secret.
sleep. I sleep with my cat, dude. I got nothing. I got no luck. I got nothing. I'm single. I got nothing. And
So
in today's society, it seems like a lot of people are in that same boat. It's like the dating pool and the people's attitude toward it and what people are experiencing are very similar. What's going on out there? So I think it's a bunch of people that if you can picture of it in your mind, it's just a bunch of single people walking in a maze, bumping in a wall, bumping into walls. That's all I can describe it as, just bumping into walls. Being on the precipice of 58 years old next month on June 21st, certainly I remember the 80s and the 90s without a phone, where you had to call on a house phone, you had to plan a date, you had to go out and talk, you had to plan the next date. And, now it's just as easy to inbox somebody, text somebody, not text them, ghost them. You're interested,
mm,
you're not interested. It's just nobody knows what they want. So that nobody knows what they want. So as far as getting lucky, it's a it's a no go.
do you know the way the internet is so weird at the moment with fake profiles and everything like that? Have you ever been like catfished to a point
Yes,
where to a point where you try to meet someone
yes,
or anything like that? So is that a
yes.
story you can tell?
I got catfished twice.
Okay.
Um, Once was a few years ago. I went all the way to Long Island, and the person answered the door, and I was just like, and the thing with me is I was still a gentleman, and took her out to dinner. We had a nice conversation. Took her home, and I went home. I never learned my lesson because let me give you, since I'm so experienced. The other one was recent. um and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want to be detailed about that. So the other one I don't mind mentioning, that was like a few years back. um but let me give you some expert pointers. Anyone that you're interested in meeting, if they can't FaceTime you to have a conversation, that's a no-go. If you're
Mm,
looking at their TikTok, their Instagram, their social media, and you see from here up, here up, here up, here up, in every picture, every single picture is here up, here up, here up.
mm,
And as far as TikTok goes, For God's sakes, I have somebody I dated in 2018 that goes on TikTok and uses the filters, and that isn't even anywhere close to what she really looks like. Nowhere
Mm.
near it. And
Filters are dangerous.
I tell her to her face, because she comes to the wrestling shows and everything. I'm like, looking at, what's going to happen when you finally meet somebody and they see you, and it's not even close to what you're putting on TikTok. So it's really,
It's getting personal already, isn't it?
oh yeah, it's not good. I am interested in the relationships I've had with the most intensity and the most emotional feelings, unfortunately, have been outside of this country.
Mm.
Where it be Brazil, um, Africa. Um, I am talking to somebody that I dated back in 2018. We went out for a date maybe 6 months ago, 4 months ago, and she makes a tremendous effort, which has really been impressing me. But I haven't seen her in a while, and my friend Kurt, who's opened up Imagine the Possibilities. So this is a wrestling company for kids. So you go there and there's a magic show, there's clowns, there's a robot. He commentates throughout the match. So the heel, if the baby face gets the best of the heel and the heel gets mad and goes, I'm gonna cheat right now and beat you, Kurt will come on and cheaters never win, and it's just a bunch of little kids. It's wrestling, but it's not your traditional, I don't want to say hardcore, but and I don't want to say it's not serious, because it is. All the moves are still there, but it's a kinder
Mm.
kind of pro wrestling show, because it's
Yeah.
it's designed for little kids and to teach them about bullying and stuff. And I think I'm gonna take her on Saturday, and with her granddaughter. I mean, we stayed friends, so um,
Mm. If that's too small, I can read it for you. I know
no,
what I want.
I
You got it.
you know what, Bob? Good luck, man. I hope you get that. I hope you get that. Good luck.
There's a
Um,
market for everyone. There
yeah,
really is. I believe that.
yeah. So it's like, uh, it's really not. It's bad out there. I refuse to go on a dating site again. Plus, Big Daddy crucifies me if I go on a dating site. Absolutely crucifies me. He's like
But
Mario Mancini. You know.
I, I don't know what way it's like over there in terms of like meeting women and stuff, but over here it was kind of always like a nightclub or pub thing, you know?
I was at a wholesale store on Saturday, and walking in front of me to their car, and I helped them. He was 77 years old. She was maybe in her 50s. I helped him with a very large bag, because it's one of those wholesale stores, right? With a very large bag of dog food in the back of his SUV, because they just both couldn't lift it. He's like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." And he was with a Filipino woman, and he's like, "We're getting married on Saturday, next Saturday." I said, "Oh, congratulations." And I said, "You have any sisters, aunts? You have any, because let me tell you something. I've never met a guy, and I'm sure they're out there. I just never met him. I never met a guy that ended up with a Filipino woman that ended up getting divorced. You know what I
Really.
mean? Oh no, no. So
Gotta remember you gotta remember though, and it's not bad in saying this, but it's just what happens. A lot of people end up buying women from that part of the world as well for a
right,
nominal
right,
fee.
right. But I saw another guy, a picture of another guy that looked like Earthquake, with this beautiful Filipino woman, and you know what? She's got a big smile on her face. The thing, I think they just number one, they want to be here, and number two, they don't care as long as they're treated nice. They just don't. Their culture is, as long as you're sweet to them and you're nice to them, they're with you. They're with you and they're sticking with you.
Hmm. Speaking of being nice, I sent you a clip last week. I didn't get to see Hey Roma last week. I was just out doing, I'm doing so much things at the moment. But Ric Flair, the way he talked to those people in that restaurant, what did you make of all that?
Ric Flair's a piece of shit.
Okay.
Listen, listen. I made this speech last night at the wrestling school. Ego doesn't belong in professional wrestling. Yeah, you can have your gimmick and cut your promos and be your character. I get it. But personally, shoot off character, the person that you really are, ego doesn't belong in professional wrestling. You can have confidence in your abilities and you can carry yourself in a very high regard, um, because you're proud of your talent and you respect your talent and other people's talents. But ego has no. It's like people. It actually did get me a 20% discount when I got my oil changed, because I was going to the same place for about 3 years to get my oil changed, and I walked in and the owner looked at me and went, "Oh my god!" And I'm like, "What's up, Chris?" He goes, "You're Mario Mancini." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I just found that out." He goes, "I'm just blown away. You know how many times I saw you in the New Haven Coliseum and the Hartford Civic Center?" He goes, "I'm a huge wrestling fan." I said, "Is that going to get me a 20% discount?" Um, you know, just because you're Ric Flair, you're not better than anybody else. I always tell this story, and it's for the religious people, no doubt.
Not very
I
many
am,
of them watching, I'd imagine.
well, was, I was, when I got out of wrestling, I went into security, and my security company had the contract for Yankee Stadium. And when things got a little rough, they'd call in management. So I was a manager in New Haven, calling the manager from Danbury, calling the manager from Stanford, and we'd go down to Yankee Stadium. So, we'd go down in 1992. In one summer, Pink Floyd and U2 came, so we had to go down for that. Red Sox Yankees, very very heated rivalry. It gets
Yeah.
unruly at Yankee Stadium, so they called me down for that. Baltimore Orioles game, they called me down for Old Timers Day. And at the time I was engaged and I brought my fiance and I was walking ahead of her. And I heard her behind me go, "Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me." And I turned around and I looked. She bumped into somebody and she caught up with me. And I go, "Now, as much as I can't stand this woman now," um, I said, "Do you know who you just bumped into?" She said, "No, some old guy." I said, "That old guy was Joe DiMaggio." And she goes, "Okay." I go, "No, yeah, I don't think you understand. You bumped into Joe DiMaggio." And she goes, "Oh, yeah, so what?" I go, "That's one of the greatest baseball players that ever played the game." She goes, "Hey, I don't care.
Mm.
Let me bump into Jesus Christ. Then I'll drop to my knees, not Joe DiMaggio." So, that's how I feel, whether it's Hulk Hogan or Ric Flair. These are human beings, and Ric Flair tries.
Oh, the Undertaker got him, and now he's on mute. He's on mute, so you're gonna have to go out and come back in. Yeah, you're on mute. Right, Mario Mancini has been abducted by the Undertaker, so I'll await his return. Let me see. Running for mayor of Kilkenny is going for me very, very well, Ian. Now I'm not actually going for mayor of Kilkenny, but going in the local elections in Kilkenny, so it's a lot of work over the next couple of weeks. I'm just back from about 13, 14 hour day, with in between work and everything else. So I will keep you posted on social media how that goes. Mario dropping knowledge, indeed, indeed. You don't know what's going to happen on this show. So we're in the middle of talking about Ric Flair and that incident he had in the restaurant a couple of weeks back. So when Mario comes back, we shall continue that conversation. Here he is now.
Now you know why I got so angry that I wasn't able to get on my laptop, because if
Yes, the
I
phone call knocks it off.
yeah, the work exists after 5 o'clock, and clients call me up to 11 o'clock at night. Um, so so he uses his fame to abuse people. He thinks that people are going to be so starstruck to see him that he's going to be able to say and do whatever he wants. And I was listening to Jim Cornette and his guy on there, and Cornette, it like was baffled how somebody can spend $1,500 at a pizza restaurant. And I'm in my shower screaming, going, Jim, it's not that hard to figure out. If you're going to bring a party of 20 people, you can spend $300 on pizza and 1,200 on booze. You know what I mean? It's not that hard if everybody's drinking. So, um, he tries to use his fame to abuse people, and to he feels he's got a rite of passage. Um, it's like I
There's
explained
not
it.
Mario. There's not many guys actually like that in the wrestling business, though, is there? That takes it to that level that I've heard about. Like even people
No,
say about Hogan, like he's the most famous wrestler ever, and he's not like that at all. Everybody says.
no, yeah, the thing about it is, well, you got to remember something. When push comes to shove, right? Let me explain that. If you're getting pulled over by the police, um, if you're looking for a bargain on a car, uh, you know, uh, you know, something like that, where you can pull your celebrity and go, "Oh, I'm Hulk Hogan. Can you give me a break?" Or, on a speeding ticket or something like that. You
Mm,
try to use your fame to get out of stuff, and as we can see, that never works. I mean, especially if you break the law, that never works. So, he just he just Rick lives in the past. And I think he's just a grumpy old man, because he can't do what we all used to do. What the mind says we want to do, and the body says you can't. You just can't do it. So I think Flair tries to abuse people with his so-called fame. The thing about it is, when push comes to shove, nobody cares.
yeah, that
Nobody
comment there.
really cares.
Flair just getting more embarrassing with each passing year.
Yeah,
Indeed,
I
that
mean, nobody. No, you know what? Nobody cares. You know what they care about? You know who's going to get a lot of juice, and in a place like that? The Rock. Rock's current. Rock's a huge superstar. You know, Ric Flair is just a wrestler. He's limited to wrestling. Now, that being said, he does what I explain to people is, I have a friend of mine that I had to teach, because he's been doing what you're doing for about 30 years on a local access TV station. And it's all about wrestling. It's all about wrestling. And he shows clips and everything. And I found, after I was friends with him, that he would get aggravated if he wasn't treated like a wrestler.
mm,
So that kind of really pissed me off, and we had on and off fights about that. And I said, listen to me. If you walked into a room and I named other people who had wrestling shows, and you walked in there, you should command a lot of respect because you've been doing this for over 25 years, and you should command a lot of respect. Once you step out of that realm and step into something else. So if Ric Flair goes to a wrestling convention, if Ric Flair is making a guest appearance on AEW and he's in the dressing room, yeah, all hail Ric Flair. He's in his element. He commands the highest amount of respect. I mean, he had a tremendous career. He's Ric Flair and he's in the element. But outside of that element, all because you're Ric Flair and you're a famous pro wrestler, nobody gives a shit. That guy looked him dead in the face and he goes, I'll go outside with you.
Do you know what the worst thing he said was there? And you were on about separating wrestling from reality. He actually said to one of the workers, I put this restaurant over. They would have even known what that meant.
No, because he's drunk. Because he's drunk. He's
Mm.
drunk. So you get outside the wrestling business. Nobody cares. No, nobody really cares. I mean, if you're a big wrestling fan, and it's happened to me before, and they're like, "What? That's Mario Mancini over there." He wrestled with WWE. Then they come up to the table and go, "Hey, how are you? Hey, how you doing? Blah blah blah. You Mario? Yeah, yeah. How you doing?" All well and good. You're still not in the wrestling business. You're still not in the wrestling business. But if I walk into a dressing room, on an independent pro wrestling match, um they will line up like they're in the line for a buffet and one at a time shake my hand. Okay. I'm in the element. I'm at a wrestling show. I'm in a wrestling dressing room. I'm with other wrestlers that I worked, before them. I was with the WWF. Okay, fine, all well and good. I have people that come up to me at wrestling conventions and look at me and go, "You're a legend." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." Listen, when I went to Dunkin' Donuts today and I got a large coffee and it was $3 and something cents, and I went to give him a $5 bill. The girl didn't say, "Oh, I understand you're Mario Mancini, the legend, and here's your coffee, sir. We're honored and privileged that you came in and into our Dunkin' Donuts today." And she took the five and she gave me my change, and I said thank you, and I left with the coffee. You know what I mean? It's big deal, big deal. Listen, when I was on TikTok today, there was a woman on there, Brittany Davis, who has accomplished more than any wrestler I know, who is not famous and commands the respect of more people, anybody in the wrestling business, anybody in Hollywood. She's a nurse in a hospice facility.
Mm.
You know how hard that job is?
I can only imagine.
Yeah. So, and she said she gets close to her patients, but her attitude was, you know what? I'm very kind and they see my smile every day. And I hope it's my smile they see before they pass. And then the next crew goes in that's going to pass away. And then the next crew goes in that's going to pass. That is incredible.
Mm. Mario still is a regular, but I think it's been about we definitely do at least one of these shows a month. But I haven't been
Yeah.
doing as many shows lately because I'm up to my fucking neck in stuff that is going on in my real life, which you wouldn't even believe. But that'll all be sorted in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, the thing about it is
And plus, Paul Roma has a new contract for him with Hey Mario, saying he can only do limited bookings from here
well,
on.
no, I was just about to cover
Subscribe,
that.
subscribe to Hey Roma.
Yeah, no, I was just going to go over that where um I've been invited to do a lot of podcasts, and I turn them down. I don't even send them to you anymore. I just turn them down because this is the only podcast I want to do aside from Hey Roma. Um,
That's correct.
I appreciate that. This is the only podcast I'll do aside from Hey Roma, and Roma knows I do it, and he doesn't. You know what I mean? So, um, but I will continue to do this podcast along with Hey Roma.
You
I
have
I
to.
think,
We
yeah.
can't. Somehow we started a conversation and we ended up being on the Vince McMahon documentary on Vice TV. So that's hilarious.
Yeah, but brother, I feel very close to you, and I'm just not going to dump this thing, man, because I love doing Hey Roma, I love doing this show. I'm just not going to do anybody else's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just not going to do anybody else's. They want me to, but I just don't.
There's only so much podcasting you can do, isn't there?
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I like to. Speaking of, only so much I can do. I like to apologize to the fans in St. Louis. Roma and I will not be attending the Fan Fest this weekend in St. Louis. Uh, Circumstances beyond our control. So, unfortunately, we will not be attending that WrestleCon wrestling convention. I think it's the SICW, and a lot of guys are going to be there. Everybody's going to be there, but Rome and I are going to be there. And Roman doesn't really care either because let me tell you something. They were the belle of the ball at the '80s con. Obviously our tables were butted with each other, but it was the first time in years the young stallions were together,
Yeah.
and they just cleaned house. Um, so I think Rome was more interested in doing these wrestling conventions with Jimmy there. They talked a lot, hugged a lot. It was a good deal, man. Jimmy's a really good guy. Um, it's nice to see everybody getting older. They're so different. He's a very gracious individual, and it was really nice to spend time with Jimmy. I can't wait to see him again.
Someone's asking you. He is still on. You and Paul Roma are on Hannibal, I think, in a couple of weeks' time in the lead up to June 29th in Napanee, Ontario, Canada,
Yeah,
for
and
your last match.
yeah, in fact, Hannibal's coming down June 1st in New Haven with Jack for the Armada Brewing Company show that we have, the Bash at the Brewery, because he wants to do a tune-up match. And Jack asked Hannibal would like to come down and work that show, and I said, Come on." So he'll be down June 1st with Jack in New Haven, Connecticut, to do that show on June 1st. And then, yep, we pack up and we go to Napanee, Ontario for my 6-man tag team. Everybody wants to know, hey, how's training going? Well, it's horrible because as I'm doing this show right now, I mean my left shoulder is elevated on a chair on my left arm because of my shoulder. I need a whole shoulder replacement that cannot be replaced anymore because um my shoulder's deformed.
Don't thank me, thank the guest. Thank the guest.
Nah, my left shoulder's deformed. The orthopedic surgeon came in with like a grotesque look on his face, and he was like, I go, what's wrong? He goes, your shoulder's grotesque. It's like deformed. I'm like, okay. So
I don't know if she's talking to me or you. Is it you?
I don't know what's the name of it.
Bedbreaker.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Bedbreaker.
I'm good loose. What's going on in this chat? Anyway, but so we'll get back to this. So
I don't
you
know.
and
I'm
you
I'm starting to think. I'm starting to think she knows stuff she's not supposed to know. I'm like,
and
how does she know that? Like, um,
Oh dear. Secrets are
so
coming out.
yeah, so I'm gonna get another shot of cortisone in it, and I just tell the truth. I'm gonna get in there and mix it up a little bit, but I'm gonna let the young guys get their stuff in, and it's all about making an appearance and doing a few things in there, and I'm not gonna go nuts. That's for sure. So
Do we
um,
have an official lineup for that match yet, or do you know who you're facing or who you're teaming with?
I forgot who I'm facing, but I'm teaming with Jermaine Marbury and Alan Compass. Uh, that's our.
Oh, he's gone again. He's gone again. He's gone again. We'll kick back into it in a second. I'm gonna try get to the bed breaker situation. Now we will get back to Mario in a second. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We do this at least once a month, and we'll have Mario back on. We're halfway through May now, so we'll do something at the start of June before his big return in Napanee, Ontario, Canada, June 29th for Great North Wrestling. Jack will be proud of that speech I just done there. So that is the plan. What is going on in here, guys? I'll wait till he's back. I don't know Ray Roju, but I'm sure Mario may have a story or two about him. Oh, now we're back.
Yeah, the thing about it is I had my phone on the charger off, and I came to my laptop to have a peaceful show with you. And when it wouldn't work, and it was 6:05, I'm like, well, I have no choice. I have to go on the phone. That was Roma. So yeah.
What were we talking about? Where were we? It went from Bedbreaker to what was it?
Like my 6-man tag team.
Ah, the six man tag.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in there and do a few things. And I don't think my shoulder or my back can take falling down too much, but I'll do the best I can.
What songs are you listening to now? Trying to work out for this thing.
Did you say songs?
What songs? Yeah, in the gym. Are you listening to some songs in there?
No,
No.
no,
You're not like running the treadmill with the earphones in, listening to like heavy metal and stuff.
no.
Okay.
I don't go on the treadmill.
Here's a question for you. Was Ray Roju considered a tough guy backstage?
No,
Okay.
no. Listen, he turned into one.
Hmm.
When one of the Rougeau brothers took a roll of quarters and knocked Dynamite right in the face with him. Um,
I think Gibson met you there,
oh,
didn't
I
he?
love the '80s. Listen, the '80s con. It was I haven't done the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in a few years. That's my home base. That's the Hall of Fame I belong to. Joe Bruins. But I enjoy doing the '80s con, and it was a lot of fun.
You made me laugh at the con when you wiped your hand on your jacket after eating cupcakes.
You made me laugh. Well, yeah, man, I didn't have a napkin. You know what I mean? The wrestler. It's just like that thing that's going on with. It's like that thing going on with The Rock. He's swearing, being belligerent, being late, and him peeing in a Voss bottle. He doesn't go to the bathroom. He pees in bottles on movie sites. And Roma looked at me and said, "You believe that guy acts like that? He just pees wherever he is in a bottle." I go, "Yeah, wrestler."
This is not something I've heard about before.
Yeah, yeah. You Google it, you'll see it. I go, wrestler. When you go right down to it, when I was going to law school, people were like, "Oh, you were a wrestler, and now you're going to law school, and trying to be a lawyer." I go, "No, you got it wrong." I am a wrestler. I'm just trying to do something else. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's all I'll ever be is a wrestler. Um, so I went, he's a wrestler. He's gonna pee in a bottle. You know, it's just like Fuji when he had to pee. He'd pull over to the side of the highway, open up the hood, like his car was overheating. He'd lean into the engine, and while he was looking under the engine, he was taking a piss. So, you know, doing one of these things. What are you gonna do? You know?
Um, are we or can we talk about that Fozzy situation, or is that still ongoing in the background and you can't really talk about it at the moment? When I say Fozzy, I'm referring to you know who.
Yeah, well, he currently Fozzy wants to purchase the rights from Richard Holiday. I went
Mm.
absolutely bullshit ballistic when he came on there and said he was breathing rarefied air. Come
Can
on,
we
man.
talk? Can we talk about it? Yeah, for people then that don't know about it in the
Yeah, sure.
context.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So do
So,
you want to explain to people then?
well, he came on and said, you're breathing rarefied air.
Hmm.
And the video was sent to me. The video was sent to Holiday. He can't do that. So I got Holiday got a hold. I got a hold. I left a message for Tony Khan's lawyer and Tony Khan's lawyer's phone number.
Hmm.
So I called Tony Khan's lawyer and I said, told him who I was, and I said, listen, he can't do that again. Can't do that again. In the meantime, somebody got a hold of Holiday of a lawyer that does all the copyrights for the boys. So he spoke to him and he said, hey, I know what's his name?
Jericho,
Yeah,
Chris.
Chris Jericho's
Yeah.
lawyer.
Okay.
I know him personally. So he called Jericho's lawyer and he said, listen, Holiday's pissed. And he said he can't use that, because it said he filed for a copyright. Well, that's not the way it works in the United States. It's not whoever copyrights it first gets to use it. It's whoever used it first.
Okay.
That's how it works in the United States. Whoever started using it first gets it. So he's interested in buying the rights, buying them. But Holiday came up with the ultimate idea. But you know what? They're not going to do it because they don't have wrestling brains at AEW. They don't have any wrestling brains. So Holiday should come into the company. They should work an angle for a year. And then after the year, a ladder match is created. The copyrights hanging on the ceiling, and whoever grabs the paper gets the copyright.
It
They
sounds
won't
good to
do
me.
it. Yet they won't do that. They won't
Mm.
do that. Of course they won't. Why would they?
I think it's only a matter of time though before I think Richard Holiday signs for one of those big three companies, and I think TNA is considered a pretty big company still at the moment, and they seem to be a
It
lot
is.
better run
It is.
than AEW. We have a lot of TNA wrestlers coming over even to Ireland now. There's a good relationship there, and it's
Yeah.
improving in the UK as well,
Yeah.
ratings wise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
I could see him at one of those the three companies, but
That
I'd
was a
just
good
be
angle, though. That was a good angle. That's a good angle.
It
You
is.
know.
I'd be concerned though that if he did go to AEW, he'd get lost in translation like so many people because they have too many wrestlers and not enough wrestling people making the show, as we've talked
Well,
about before.
well, well. That's what Roman left a message for Tony Khan, and he said, "Listen, Paul Roma, I'm interested in your company. I could save you millions of dollars. and increase your production and increase your following if you just listen to what I have to say. And Roma's that's his first move. He's like, I'm gonna get rid of all the dead wood. Gonna get rid of all the dead wood. See, the problem is Vince bought everybody
Yeah.
to make his company. Roma's idea, you have to become a star somewhere. You have to
Yeah.
get a name somewhere. You gotta have to get a gimmick somewhere. So Roma's idea is create your own stars, create your own. You know what I mean? Work those storylines and create your own stars. You know what I mean? And Roma's big thing is the only reason why AEW has any talent that they have is because it's the talent that WWE doesn't want. You know what I mean? So
I don't know. I don't know. That product unfortunately is not doing it for me. I don't follow it even anymore. I think I
I
give up
listen.
after I give up after that CM Punk stuff that went on and everything else there, and that's the biggest ball drop I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch anything, so I don't know. But I love the questions though. The questions are great. I like
Mm.
getting the questions up.
What was the last one? They're using the F word nowadays in WWE. Yeah, little
Yeah,
bits and pieces.
you
I
know,
think they tone back on that now a little bit. I think that was
yeah,
just uh,
The
for
Rock.
Mania season. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason. There's no reason. I hear Strongbow in my head. You know, house shows. Believe it or not, guys. Believe it or not, when I did house shows for the WWF, there was a lot of times I had to be a heel,
Mm.
and even though I'm a baby face on TV, I had to go out there and be a heel. And Strongbow would always say, "Listen, anybody can give the this and say F you and stuff." He goes, guess what he called that, Maurice?
What?
Cheap heat.
And here we
Isn't
are.
isn't that ironic? He called it
Yeah.
cheap heat. Anybody can get cheap heat, he said. That's not it. They gotta hate you. You know, so I thought all that swearing was nothing but cheap heat, you know.
Yeah. You have to do it when it means something. If you do it all the time, it doesn't mean
Right. It
it
was
doesn't mean
just
anything.
for me it was just cheap heat. That's all.
Mm. So we're going to wrap this thing up now shortly. But before we go, June 29th, Napanee, Ontario, Canada, Great North Wrestling, Mario Mancini, one last match. Is there any other appearances you've got coming up? And of course, before we finish as well, give us an update on Paradise Alley and events planned there.
I think June 7th I have a card show in New Britain with Roma. The only thing with that is I got to scurry out of there because it's my aunt's 90th birthday. And I got to go to that party or my whole family's going to hate me, you know. So I have that coming up in New Britain. I have Napanee. We're at the brewery on June 1st, the Armada Brewery in New Haven, where Hannibal's going to come down and do a tune-up match. Napanee on the 29th, I have my tag team partners of Jermaine Marbury and Alan Compass. Scott Wilder is going to be there. Paul Roma's going to be there. Nikki Duke is going to be there. Brad Baylor will be there. And I gave him what a promo I gave him. See, see, Mo, this is where a wrestling mind, an experienced wrestling mind, comes into play. And I hope he uses it because when I cut that promo, he's like, oh my God, Mario. Oh my God. And I hope he uses it. And I don't know if there are a lot of Canadians watching here, but I went, you know, over a lifetime, people collect a lot of things. Not me, because I'm only 19. But a lot of people collect a lot of things. These things turn into junk. Well, after so many years accumulating all that junk, you got to get rid of it. Where you go typically to get rid of junk is the dump. Now, personally, I've never been to a dump, but I will be coming to Napanee, Ontario on June 20th. So even you,
Oh. I'm sorry,
what do you
Jack
think?
Kilby.
You're a wrestling fan, so what do you think of that? What do you think of that promo?
Okay, it's all coming to light now. I took some of your wrestling advice, and that's how I gained the name Bedbreaker. I know Kelly from Dublin, but obviously she knows you as well, Mario.
I don't know, Kelly. I wish you could remind me of what advice that I gave.
Yeah. If
I
you
don't
want to,
know.
if you want to fill us in there before we go, let me know, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. So, Baylor's going to do very well there. Hopefully, this is my hope that my people are mainstays. It's all up to Jack. I would never insist anything on Jack. It's his promotion. I get pretty pissed when people try to tell me what to do outside of Roma, because Roma really isn't in charge of the production and the booking and the storylines. But it's up to Jack. I'd like to see Brad Baylor be a mainstay there and get involved in the storyline. I'd like to see Nikki Duke be a mainstay there. I did book the Miracle Generation for the next show that Jack's gonna run. I'm sending Miracle Generation down there. And you know, Flash Waller and Kai. So they've been all over the world. These guys, they're one of the hottest tag teams going on the independent circuit. So they should do really well there. So I'm hoping that Jack brings these people into his stable and he keeps them there. And listen, like any other wrestling company, whoever the one he doesn't want, he doesn't bring back, and that's he's got the right to make that decision. But yeah, I'd like to see um, because when you're young and when you're really young and you're in this business, I mean, going out of the country to do what you love, it's always you get all pumped up for it. You know what I mean? You're not just in your state or going to New York or Jersey or Massachusetts. You're going on the road.
It's a shame Ireland isn't a bit closer. You'd love it over here at the moment. The wrestling scene is just brilliant over here.
Is it really? Oh, I
It
thought you were going to say this. I thought you were going to say the single scene
well,
was.
it could be. Do you know what they've started doing over here? So for people that are over 30, they run the nightclub from 5 o'clock till 9 o'clock, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. club night. It's called an over 30s night. It's become a new phenomenon over here over the last 6 or
Why?
eight
Because
weeks.
listen. I'm up to one till 1:30 in the morning every night of my life. Do they think we need to get to bed early? Is that why it's 5 to 9? Because we're old.
I think the actual idea is to drink early, go out, get a takeaway, come home, and keep drinking till you pass out.
I don't know, Mo. I don't know. I hear Irish women aren't that affectionate, though. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to get maybe Kelly back on the show to let us know next week. We'll find out what really happened.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Mario should join us in Derry or Waterford. Yeah, one of my club
I
nights on the road.
I do have to get over to Ireland. I really do. I do.
Yeah.
I got to get over.
When
Um,
I was looking like I was thinking maybe I'll go to Mania next year, and I was like Vegas, not a chance.
well, I tell you what, I'm gonna book. I am gonna book Roma and I there. I'm gonna get a hold of WrestleCon and I'm gonna book Roma and I there to Vegas.
Do
I'm gonna book the flights way in advance, and we're gonna go and do that WrestleCon because I've never done WrestleCon. I was supposed to go to Philly. That didn't happen. Um, but I'm gonna book. We're gonna be there in Vegas. You know.
um, it's kind of like a dating website, but it's a bit more than that.
What's he talking about?
He said he'd sign you up to a website over here that you could meet some women on. And it's not exactly a
Ye-
date site. It's a bit more direct than that. And that's all I'll say.
Yeah. Listen, June 21st. I'm gonna be 58. It's more about the heart than the
Yes,
TNA.
58, 11 years from 69. Irish women are legends in the bedroom. We create our own wrestling moves. Okay.
All right, Kelly, you gotta calm down there, man. You gotta. She's
It is.
really, she's really dangling that carrot out there, isn't she?
Mm,
She is just really, really. She's ribbing the hell out of me here.
I can't believe that there's a woman that's awake in Ireland at 5 past midnight watching me and you talk.
Kelly, what are you
Oh,
doing? What are you
Kelly,
doing?
surely there must be something better on the TV, no?
I don't know, Kelly. I don't know what Kelly's doing. You
Mm.
know what I mean?
But thanks to everyone for their input today, anyway.
Ugh.
Thanks to you, Mario. Maybe the next time when we talk, I'll be erected. Oh, sorry, I mean elected.
Oh. Well, that's the only thing I can be these days
Yeah.
because I didn't get any action last night as we started out the show. My cat sleeps with me. I did give her a couple of pets and then a couple of scratches behind the ears and then I fell asleep. But that was about it. But
I'm
yeah.
waiting for I'm waiting
Well,
for the comedy jokes to come in.
I hope you do get elected. That would be a really good thing if you got elected. It's going to be a lot more work. Here comes Kelly.
Oh God.
All right.
It's not
All
the
right.
80s. It's not
All
the
right.
80s
All right.
anymore.
All right. Listen. All right. All right. Listen. Listen. What's this? Taking the gloves off. Kelly, if this were 1988, 89, you would have had to experience that on the screen. That was typical and usual back in what I call the wild, wild west of the 80s of the WWF. In fact, sometimes 4 or 5. All right, I'm going to put the gloves back on now. Put
And
my
he's not
old man,
lying.
put my old glasses back on. The stories, Kelly, we cannot tell on cheap heat.
No. We have to move to a different channel.
Right. And stories that Mario Mancini can't tell as he has 3 daughters. One is
Mhm.
probably way older than you are.
Calm
my
down,
old
horse.
my
This
oldest
little
daughter
mare can move.
my oldest daughter's 37.
I think Kelly would be about. Oh, I think we need to end the stream now pretty quickly. She's in her early 30s. Let's just say that.
Well, I was right then. It was my oldest daughter's 37.
Yeah.
So,
So you're right.
yeah, Kelly. What do you?
If you want to,
If
he's
you
he's
were
on he's on TikTok, Kelly. I know, like girls girls like TikTok
the
at the singing wrestler,
the singing wrestler is on TikTok.
the, the singing
Um,
wrestler on TikTok.
you know how this show is gone. I'm not sure. What do you think Kelly's gonna do when we go off the air?
Ooh. Yet again, I think we should probably end this stream fairly quickly.
Okay, well, another great show, Mo.
Yeah, a pleasure as always, and not that kind of pleasure now, Kelly. But I'm sure we'll be talking again soon.
Absolutely.
Good night and God bless.
Yeah.